Welcome to Around the Board, a show where four board game enthusiasts discuss board game topics and news. We begin today's show by showing you how to properly hang the skeletons in your closet. Well, after that, we'll return to everybody's favorite, Play Shelf Trade. Then it's on to themes that make you go, ugh. And to finish the show, another great game debate with none other than my father's work. Here are your hosts, Daniel, the Blue Meeple Group, Connors. I see what you did there, Randy. Nice on the script. John Tom Vassal Teisman. Board Game Jesus? And Chris El Meeple Negro Thomason. Does that mean the black meeple?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. Anyway. And then, of course, me, Andy Sir Trollington Barnett. Now, if you would, join us around the board. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hey. Hello, you troll. What is up?
I thought, Chris, to be honest with you, because I know nothing, I thought you were either A, were trying to mimic a real wrestler that I didn't know, or B, I actually thought for a second you were the Sphinx from Mystery Men. Do you know the old movie Mystery Men from the late 90s?
I remember the movie. I do not remember this character whatsoever.
He was the guru, anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I thought for a second.
Chris, I have an extra challenge for you, because apparently it's a showdown of the meeples, but I have the belt here. Title in hand. Me and you.
You have a piece of metal on leather for an entertainment company, not a wrestling company.
Well, it doesn't matter because I am the champion entertainer.
Yeah, and for that company, you could be.
I might be. Is this a little much though, guys? Is this does this look like a meeple?
I thought you were like a blue.
The Grimace.
Blob.
Blue Grimace.
Ooh, Grimace.
From McDonald's.
Yes.
That's what I thought it was.
Well, I'll go with my
shakes, didn't he?
I want a shake now. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll go with my backup costume then.
Oh,
What's
this?
I'm a knight.
Very nice,
all right.
I literally have been
good.
keeping that hidden from you guys this whole time.
You did. I was wondering where we were going with
Very
this.
good.
So
I like that one. That's pretty good.
I don't know how well I
It's
pulled
really
it off,
bent.
but
I know.
is that really a blade? Carefully, you don't know.
Man, be careful over there. God,
I was trying to pull off the old 90s trolls. You know the little troll dolls.
Yeah, troll
Yes,
doll.
you did a good enough job. You
Looks
look like
good.
something that'd be on some old lady's dashboard.
That's true.
All right.
I thought you were
about
just
to
going
really
as
pull it
yourself.
off, because if I remember correctly, those trolls never wear shirts, so I thought about not wearing a shirt, but didn't want to scare people.
Commit to the gimmick, man. Commit to the gimmick.
Chris did
beat
more
me
than
to
think
it.
about it.
Careful there, Chris. I think I saw a nip slip.
Yeah.
And then, John, I thought you were maybe Inspector Clouseau for a second.
No, but your phone is ringing. That's a Clouseau quote. These other two probably have no idea. They're uncultured morons.
I have no idea.
But the thing about being Tom Vassal, to do it nice, I had to do the tie crooked because he's always got something going on that really distracts you from whatever he's saying. Have you noticed that? There's the two button-down collars with one of them unbuttoned, or there's the crooked tie, or there's something stuck to his shirt. There always seems to be something going on, some wardrobe malfunction. So I had to do the crooked tie just to make it a little bit more authentic. I'll try to touch my face a lot.
Oh yeah.
And get your what is it? He always say, like, hey everybody! Hey everybody!
Yeah. Hey everybody! This is Around the Board. Yeah,
there you go.
Have to be over the top excited sometimes. Yes.
Well, anyway, if you haven't noticed, it is our Halloween episode, so we're all in costume. We're having a good time. We hope you're having a good time too, and we're excited to get into this thing. We have an announcement first, though, a big one. Come on, Daniel, tell us all about it.
So two things. One, we have Meeple-a-thon. It is a local convention here in the Kansas City area, and it is for charity. So if you guys are watching this and you're local, make sure you head out to Meeple-a-thon. Is it November 17th and 18th? And also, we'll be there.
Correct.
So if you want to meet us in person, because, well, honestly, if you live locally, you've already met us. You don't
probably
care.
have.
But you know what?
Well,
come and visit us anyways.
But have you
They
met
might not have met
Meeple
me,
Negro?
'cause
Oh,
I sometimes it takes me a while to hop on my jet from Los Angeles to get there.
That's right. That's right. So we'll expect you to be flying in. And then also, hey, this Halloween weekend, I am running the first ever, well, not first ever, but first ever here, Unmatched tournament at Mission Board Games. So if you're a big Unmatched fan, come join us at Mission Board Games.
Cool.
Yeah. That's what I got.
Sounds like a good time.
I got one thing I want to throw out there because if you watched our last episode about challengers,
I'm sorry, we're out of time.
Too bad.
Just kidding.
Quit
just
trolling. Quit trolling.
kidding. Oh,
About challengers. I know Chris would want to know this announcement. I think I mentioned something during the show about when they come out with an expansion for it, it's just going to make it that much better. The expansion's already coming out. Challengers Beach Cup, and so it's a play. You can play it on its own, or you can add it with the original Challengers. So more the merrier.
Can you have 16 people play this time?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can do that still. But who knows? Maybe it is in the rules.
Why not? Might as well. I'm also going to share a meme right now that that our friend Philip made. It said, I'm just going to show it here on the screen, and then if you're listening to it, it says Magic and Challengers, and it has Pam from The Office saying, it's the same picture.
Mm-hmm.
I love that meme so much, and I love how mad it made Chris.
I love it too. In fact, I think did his face just get redder?
I think it did.
I think it's like I see the blood like rising right now.
Yeah, I represent the people who appreciate people who don't lie. And so, because that's all that is. Hot takes is just lies. And that meme is a hot take. So it is a lie.
I love how set he is on that we're kidding, that we're just lying about Challengers.
It is absolutely true. I played it last night. By the way, so this is breaking news even for the other three. I actually played it last night at a friend of ours' birthday party. I took second, and it's still trash. So,
and that friend is a board game connoisseur, sir, and he loves that as much as you, and he agrees with us.
Right. So I actually, by the way, just to let you know, I won the English Cup in that tournament, but did not win the U.S. Cup. And what I mean by that is I had the best regular season record. That's the English Cup. And then because we're Americans, we must have playoffs. And I lost the final.
Gosh, don't you start with this soccer crap. We're not doing relegation right now. Hey, you know what? We're already starting to get into quite a few arguments. People are here for one reason, and that's to hear us argue when points are on the line.
Oh, okay. I was like, I think they're here to watch us argue.
Oh, that's the wrong song.
Wrong song. That's right. Around the Board is all about debating different topics within tabletop gaming in 4 unique segments, each hosted by one of us. A behind-the-scenes judge will award points at the end of the show. The contestant with the most points will get to sit on their soap throne and regale us with scary ghost stories around the fire. Will there be marshmallows? Chocolate? Graham crackers? Now it's time to play the game. Round 1. Fight! Well, this first segment, we're going to talk about a brand new game called Hanging Skeletons. In this game, it's all about finding the skeletons in everyone's closet. And it starts with us. We get to dive into Chris's skeleton closet, then Daniel's skeleton closet, and John's skeleton closet. And
hold on. I'm getting a message from the producer.
Oh.
Glad to see you got my message. Here is your random task. Halloween is coming up, and with it comes your deepest board game fears. I will need each of you to find a game that scares you and present it on the show.
Random task. Show them what you do.
It's a random task! Oh, what do we got to do? Oh, gosh. Where is it?
There we go. Got it. I think it was the first one. Oh, Andy, did you beat me?
I never left. El Mipo never leaves.
I might have revealed mine a little too early.
Yeah, you did. What's that all about?
Yikes.
Well, to be honest, guys, I thought about going to get this, but I couldn't do it fast enough because guess what? Games that I'm scared to play, it's a lot. There's a lot of games I'm scared to play. Any game basically that I don't have my board game Sherpa Tyler around to help teach with me, I'm afraid of. So I'm scared of a lot of games. To be honest, the one that came to mind, honestly, is probably Eclipse. Eclipse is such a great game, but it rarely gets to the table because it's so long. And every time I play it, I feel like it's been 5 or 6 months and I screw up the rules. And like, oh, next time we'll get it right. Next time. And next time doesn't come around again for another 3 to 5 months. So I'm scared of that one. I'm also, frankly, I'm scared of, apparently, I'm scared of my He-Man game. I backed that thing. It's sitting on my shelf. It looks great. The boxes do, but apparently I'm too scared to play it because every time I try and pull it out, I go, there's more pieces, more parts, more pieces, more parts. And so far, nobody's taught me to play it, and I'm just inept. I can't figure it out myself. There's too many things to punch, too many parts. It's like it's overwhelming. I can't. So there you have it. Those are some of the things I'm too scared to play. I guess in general, I'm scared of games there's too many parts and pieces to. If it gets too complex, if there's too many boxes and too many
Andy,
parts.
This is random task. This is random task, Andy. One game. What are you doing?
What?
It's random task. One game out of your collection.
Well, I gave you like several, so forget you. Okay, John, how about you?
So, well, okay, I'll go next. We'll go out of order. That's fine.
Oh, wait. How about Daniel?
Yeah, okay. Hey, it's okay, guys. If this is your first time watching, it's actually Andy's first time on the show. So the game I picked is Kanban from Vitals. Oh gosh,
Lacerda?
Yes, I can say names, but when I'm on camera, they don't come out of my mouth. Okay.
When he's on camera, they all come out as something inappropriate instead.
It's very true. So Kanban is a heavy economic Euro game with so many moving pieces. You're like trying to score each little sector as your boss is coming to inspect your work. And this game is actually one that I have played a lot with Randy and another friend of mine. And we played this probably 6-7 years ago, like when it first came out. And this made our head hurt so much. And we could not wrap our minds around this game. Now, we've evolved a lot since then as a gamer, so I think we have the ability to play this game, but I stare at it on my shelf often, going, one day I'm going to play you, Kanban, but I'm not ready yet. This is the game I am most scared to play, and I want to get it played. It was a really good time, very thematic, very crunchy, but I don't know. I had like some trauma about it, and I don't know if I'm ready to delve into it quite yet. So... Have you ever played...
John, what do you got?
Daniel, it's heavy and crunchy, but is it thick? You once described the game as thick. Is that
a little creamy sometimes?
A little too thick.
Smooth.
Got a little too much on the backside. Anyway, that's what I expect you to say.
What are we talking about, folks?
It's
this
game.
Is a family-friendly show.
It's thick. It's hard to understand. That's all. All right.
You are clearly not the WWE champion because that is not appropriate for WWE viewers.
Yeah, exactly. Mine, much like Daniel's, is a brain burner, and it's really hard for me to get my mind wrapped around, and that is Connect 4. Because for some reason, I can do spatial games like tile laying games. I don't have to pick up the tiles to rearrange. I don't understand why people have to do that. Why do you have to pick up the tile to rearrange on your board to figure out if it fits? Just look at it. You can see if it fits. It's 3x8 or whatever. You know, it drives me nuts when people have to keep doing that time after time because okay, that's the one I want. Boom, I'll take it. Connect 4 blows my mind. We had a Connect 4 tournament, as some of you will recall, earlier this year, and I bought a Connect 4 game used at a garage sale or something real cheap. So I'm like, well, let me just make sure it works. And so I'll try playing myself in Connect 4. And I'm here going at it for about 10, 15 minutes. My wife comes by. I'm like, this is really hard to play by yourself. It's hard to beat yourself at it. She's like, you've already won 3 times. Here, and here. I give up. I cannot play this game. I can't play it against myself. I can't beat myself on that bad. So... I don't play Connect 4. My mind doesn't work that way.
John, what's that date behind your shoulder?
Date? October 31st.
Are you sure it doesn't say April 1st?
No, it doesn't.
Next time we look forward to John's segment on tic-tac-toe and his conundrum about how to figure it out.
It's crazy.
Chris,
I know it is.
Save us, Chris.
Dumbfounded.
Chris, you're our only hope. I'm
speechless, and I think I got a point because Randy could see it and he appreciated it. Like, this show is all about ripping each other. I have nothing to say, nor nothing needed to say. Anyone who
there's not.
That is like, does John have like the IQ of 12? Because the Connect 4, I mean, I like it, but dang, bro, like you can't beat yourself.
I can't.
What is that about?
I don't know. I don't notice the patterns.
What are those?
I can't find it. It'll happen before I know it.
Okay. Well, that's wow. All right. Anyway, Man, he threw me off. I had this whole spiel I was going to go in as El Meeple Negro, and then you threw it all off. But all right, anyway. So first of all, fix the problem of Daniel and Andy by doing what I say and playing games that are not complicated for complicated sake. I played a new game that I had not played before. Now new, it's very, very old, but new to me, by the great Doctor yesterday. Taj Mahal, hadn't played that before. Mwah, man, fantastic. It's a bidding game, but with cards, and it's got this whole mechanic. It's hard to explain in the short amount of time I have, but it's actually very simple. But it was beautiful. I hadn't played it before. It was fantastic.
It looked like crap.
It did look like crap, according to people that are unwashed. But for this segment, all right, I had the first thing that came to mind when we were talking about this production. I was like, the 18xx games I haven't played, because while they're all about the same, they are kind of like daunting, and then some of them could be really more not complex, but have a whole lot more little intricacies than others. So I have two on my shelf that I still haven't played that kind of has me there, and that was the first thing I came to. But then last night, talking to Randy where we were playing, I realized the game I'm most worried about, most fearful of, is Merchant and Marauders, because many episodes ago, I said when I won that I was going to fix this game, and I realized I haven't done any of that yet. But I will say, actually, in that moment, talking to Randy last night, I did kind of make some waves. We kind of talked it out with a friend of ours, James. We kind of put some stuff to paper, so to speak, about what we could add. And I do think those little things that we came up with actually are putting us in the right direction. But at the moment, I got to say Merchant and Marauders, because it always was not it was just missing something before, but now it's like, oh, I got to do that because I said I was going to.
All right. Now that we've all shared our random tasks, let's go ahead and hold them up. And Randy, let us know who is in third, who's going to get 1 point. Chris, Chris gets 1 point.
All right, but how many points for El Meeple Negro?
All right. Number 2 goes to Andy for a clip, maybe. What? I'm very confused by this.
Here it goes. He didn't even have a game he nominated. I know.
It's gonna be.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Once again, me winning the random task.
Random task. You pick a game you played with Randy. That's really random.
Well, you know what? But he feels it. He knows it's true.
That's what I'm saying.
Pick the correct game doesn't mean I should be penalized.
All right, folks. Well, tell us what you think. What's a game you're scared to pick up off your shelf and play? We'd love to know. Tell us in the comments. And, of course, always be sure to quick hit that. Sorry, I need another drink here. Like and subscribe. That's it.
Might have had too many drinks.
Maybe that's what it is.
Round 2. Fight.
Now we're going to jump into Play Shelf Trade. And today's theme is all about the horror games. Woo! But you know what's really scary? This costume. I got to get rid of it. All right. So now I'm a Roman.
Scarier.
Yeah, I'm the Blue Man Group. So it just keeps changing. All right.
Are you Cleopatra?
Yeah, it's Cleopatra. Okay. So guys,
Caesar was
today
blind.
we are going to talk about, so the past couple episodes we changed the format where we talked about one game and then we all went around. I don't think we're going to do that this time. We're just going to go back to our normal format. So let me jump at it. I'm going to explain the 3 games real quick. Betrayal, House on the Hill is a cooperative game where you're going through the dungeon until one person becomes a traitor and goes and attacks everybody else. And it's very story based. Fury of Dracula is 1 versus many. You're hiding around the map. And Dracula is, they can't see him until they are really close to him, and then you fight him. So it's deduction plus that. And Dead of Winter is a co-op game, semi-co-op, because you could be kind of a traitor. You can also have your own agenda, but it's post-apocalyptic zombies. All right, and we're going to jump into Play Shelf Trade with these 3 games. We're going to talk about which one we want to play right now because we either want to give it a try or we're super hot on it or something like that, or which one's going to be on our shelf. This is usually one that's like our favorite. At times, we can kind of interpret it how we want, but normally it's our favorite game out of the 3. And then there is Dead of Winter, or sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
I wonder which one's the
somebody
trade.
just gave something away.
Then there's Trade, where you
Bodied.
just get rid of it. You burn it with fire. You want to trade it away, but it's rubbish to you and you want to get rid of it. So All
so
right.
tell us why Dead of Winter is your trade.
Actually, you know what? I was just reading. I'm a teleprompter guy like you. I saw Dead of Winter, so I said it. No, but Dead of Winter is actually going to be my play. It was actually no, Fury of Dracula is going to be my play, because the reason I say that is because I played it once a long time ago with our friend Adam Shank, and it was fine. It was fun, but I didn't give it its rightful shot because it's really long. And I would try to play it again if the moment was right. But my shelf is going to be Dead of Winter. When it came out and it was hot. I loved it. I loved Battlestar Galactica, which this is a good comparison to. And I actually think this game is better than Battlestar Galactica. Now, Randy might call me out on this because he's also like, play Dead of Winter, and I'm like, please, anything else. This could be a game that I'm afraid to play as well because I don't know what about it. It's there. I like it, but I'm afraid to play it. But that means my trade is going to be Betrayal on the House on the Hill. It is just a random hot mess. Every time you play it, the person who shouldn't be the traitor ends up being the traitor. It ruins the whole experience. Half the game you're waiting around going, oh my gosh, like, can you figure out how to play this game already? I haven't had good experiences with it. I want it out of here. And there you go. So, John, can you do a little better explaining your play shelf trade than me?
I don't know if I could do worse. That would be a tough bar to.
It's this under. Hair. It's getting in my eyes.
There you go,
distracting me.
And with that hair, he's worried if he could see her. Oh, Caesar. I don't know. I was trying to get a combination in there. It didn't work. Anyway, let's see if we can do better. But my play on this list is actually, I agree with you. It's going to be Dead of Winter, and when the list came out, I'm like, oh, we're throwing Dead of Winter in there. That's going to be an instant trade. And then I was like, well, I should probably just look into it, watch a review, do all this. Maybe I have some preconceived ideas that aren't true. And I watched the playthroughs and I'm like, this sounds pretty cool. I mean, there could be a traitor, there could not be a traitor. You don't know. And everybody's kind of a traitor because you have your hidden agendas that you're trying to accomplish. And you're not going to help the team and get rid of some of your stuff that you need for your hidden agenda. So that's going to throw some shade on you. That might even be a traitor, but people think there are. So they're, trying to ostracize you or what have you. So I think I got to play that. That's going to probably be my play. Fury of Dracula, while it seems like a really good game, is I've already had it and traded it once because I couldn't get it played. So I guess it's going to have to be my trade, which I didn't really want it to be my trade. I wanted Betrayal at House of the Hill to be my trade, but I have only played it once. So I think I will throw it on the shelf and see if somebody wants it. It's usually an easy game to get played. There's people out there that'll be, okay, I'll give it a try. It sounds, and you don't really have to know much about how to play a game to play it. It's fairly simple. So I'd probably try that again. I think, my one time I had a meh experience with it. It sounds like it can be very swingy. Like you can have a really great time with this game, or you can have a terrible time with this game. It all depends on, like you're saying, who the betrayer is, how it comes out, what the goals are to get rid of them, all that. So it can be really easy for them. It can be really hard for you, for them, what have you. So it sounds like it probably needed some tweaking. Maybe I don't know if the newest edition does any better.
But it has it. That's what's crazy about it. There's like 5 new editions of this game, including Scooby-Doo, and like they don't fix it. Like it's still just the same game.
Because it ain't broke.
You're broke, okay. Mr. Lucha Libre.
All right, Nacho Libre, what you got?
Yeah.
You will correct. You will call me by my correct name, El Mipo Negro, or I have vast resources. Resources so vast that no tray can hold them.
Something's vast.
Anyway. For my play shelf trade, so I'm going to go straight to my shelf because it is Betrayal at House of the Hill. I feel I have to jump right in here and defend this game because I don't understand these people. You like challengers, but you don't want to play a game that's just like actually a fun game that you do have agency in and you can have a good time with. But regardless, Betrayal at House of the Hill. It's not like a strategy game. It's kind of like this weird kind of like themey party kind of game. Like you're supposed to sit around, have a good time, talk to each other. It's exciting and fun because every single time it's different. You don't know how the room tiles are going to come out. There's a lot of mystery with it. There's the 50 different, even with the base game from the original first edition, which I own on brand. 50 different scenarios. You're never going to have the same one twice unless you play it just tons. And the thing about the Betrayer, I don't even understand what Daniel was talking about. It could be anybody. And so that's exciting and interesting. You don't know who it's going to be. And so Anyways, it's an all-time great. I love that game. And then I'm going to go with my play is going to be Dead of Winter, because for all the same reasons that John was talking about. It's a cooperative game, but not a cooperative game. You have the kind of hidden role. There may be a betrayer, there may not be a betrayer. So it seems like a very interesting play. I want to give it a try. And then Fury of Dracula, I feel like a beat record here, but again, going back to Big Dan T, it's all about the money, boys. That game has been worth like tons and tons of money at different points in its existence. John, I did not know you owned this game. Like, I don't understand. All the time you're like, oh, I traded this away. What the heck? Why didn't you talk to me? And I played the game with you. I don't understand. This happens over and over. Stop trading the games before you talk to me, and we'll play them. But even then, about Fury of Dracula, everyone talks so huge about it, but the stuff I've seen about it, like, it seems interesting, but like not over the moon like people make it. So again, I'm going to trade it because it's theoretically worth a lot, and I'm not excited as the other ones. But
I think we're going to have to change this segment to play, shelf, and unload for a lot of cash. Because apparently that's the criteria Chris has adopted.
It's all about the money, boys.
Oh, but Chris, I think what Daniel was talking about with the trader, it just always seems to be the person that, like, this is their first game of it, or they don't play many games anyway, and now they have all this responsibility of being the trader, and they have all these questions, and it's like they can't ask anyone.
I'll give you that.
Being that person.
I'll give you that. That can be a problem when you're playing with people who just aren't. If you play with people who don't play games, then yes, that can be a problem. Or even a new person that's just not played before that is a gamer. Mm-hmm. Sure. But what you can do in those situations, and what I do is I just say, like, listen, is there anyone worried that it's going to be them and not willing to take over it? And if for all the people that are not willing to, I just hop in if that's the case. But if it's anybody else that's willing to do it, then that fixes the problem. I know Daniel's like, oh, using a variant rule and using your own brain. No,
I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that. All right, Andy, well, what do you got? Tell us your play shelf trade.
So I'm in a real conundrum here, guys. I'll be honest. As I look at all three of these, I go, really? I don't have any desire. I don't know. This is a really tough one. For one thing, I don't want to put any of them on my shelf. I'm going to be honest with you. One of them is on my shelf right now. That was a gift, and so I kind of feel bad if they're watching. Thank you for the gift. But I've only played it twice, and it wasn't my cup of tea very much, and that was Betrayal. Again, perhaps it suffered because we were playing with new people that didn't know how to play, some non-gamers, and it seemed to drag on much longer than it needed to. Yep. And believe it or not, guys, I know I'm the actor in the group, and I do voices, and you would think, well, with all this, he must be really into games with stories and themes. No. I like my Euro puzzly agrarian theme games a lot, and this is the opposite of that. And so all three of these, I have a hard time putting one on my shelf. I would probably go ahead and trade away Betrayal, just because I've tried it twice and it hasn't worked out. I maybe need to give it another try. I'll give it that. I know it's rated highly, and it's got some good plays by people I respect have said it can be a lot of fun, and maybe I'm just not playing with the right group. The Fury of Dracula, that one's going on the shelf only because of what Chris said. He read my mind. It's worth money. Show me the money. I looked it up, and I was like, that's the first thing I went to with these three games is like, I don't really want to put any on my shelf, but I'm going to find out what's worth the most. Fury of Dracula has been worth a lot at times. It's going to go on my shelf. The one I do want to play and that I've never played is, and by the way, I haven't played Fury of Dracula either. So just to give you that caveat, I have not played Dead of Winter. However, I have heard that I would probably like Dead of Winter Warring Factions. That is the one that I probably would like because it gives you a little bit more of competitive nature and is probably most reminiscent of The Walking Dead and some of the things that have come up with The Walking Dead. So I really actually want to get that play. That is definitely going to be my play. But again, this segment was really hard for me. I'm going to be honest with you because none of them really scratched that European itch that I have.
You know, Andy, I got to jump in here. You often criticize Chris for taking his shelf being the one he's like meh on, and he's like, that's supposed to be marriage. Well, now you just said you're going to put the one that's worth the most on your shelf. So what I'm hearing is you're going to pay for your wife.
People sometimes marry for money.
It sounds like he's Travis Kelce marrying Taylor Swift. That's what it sounds like.
Fury of Dracula is my sugar mama. Woo!
All right, guys. Well, this time I did something new.
We're talking about sports ball, John.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. So I did something new. I put our play shelf trade on 3 different Facebook groups, and I asked people what their play on the internet, and I asked their play shelf trades, and I, added them all together. And this is the people's.
Let's hear it.
Play shelf trade. Are you guys ready for this?
Sure.
All right. So the play is actually going to be Fury of Dracula, which I think is probably correct. A lot of people want to give that one a try because of the secret movement. There's really nothing out there quite like it. Then the shelf is Dead of Winter. Is someone from the 1990s calling?
I think so.
All right. Got your rotary phone there in your office?
Pardon me. Yes, hello, doctor. Oh, yes, you could send the pills down to the pharmacy, and I'll pick them up tomorrow. Yes. I'll get a milkshake while I'm there.
Yeah.
All right.
Your checkbook.
The shelf is Dead of Winter. And then the trade, they agree with me, Betrayal on the House of the Hill.
There you go.
That game is yesterday's news. If you like it, you like it. But if you don't, I never played it, don't play it. You ain't going to like it. I promise. But let us know what your play shelf trade is.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. I think this calls for a little bit of a break. What do you think?
We need a break.
We do.
Yes.
I think so.
We'll return after these messages.
The year's 2914. All that's left is us. And those beasts. I say us, but you know what I mean. Some of us. The rest were all taken. Some say it's a religious thing. Me? I don't know. What I do know is this. Nearly 25% of Earth's population disappeared overnight. And if that's not creepy enough, soon after, a plague of sorts descended on us. Raptors. Thousands of them started appearing everywhere. Now, they hunt us day and night. Some call it God's judgment. Others call it Rapture Rapture! Join your friends in this post-apocalyptic tabletop adventure for 1 to 5 players. Will you survive the night? Will you meet your maker? Will the raptors feast on your flesh? Roll the dice and find out. Rapture Rapture, coming soon to Kickstarter.
All right, guys, and we are back, and we have a longtime friend who hasn't been on the show for a while, but he told me he was getting a little antsy. He really wanted to be on the show again. So let's hear it for our comments reader, Hansa. Hansa, what do you got for us today? Well, hello. I'm so glad to be back. It's been a while, but I wanted to be in your Halloween episode because of my costume. What do you think of my costume?
It's beautiful, Hansa.
It's
Hansa Man? Bat Hansa? What is that?
Yes, we'll go with that. All right. Well, today I have a comment from the Board Game Geek. This is on our Pompero episode, and it's from Mario. Mario says, "Dear Around the Board, too many conclusions after a single game. I wouldn't be so daring. You guys don't know how to play games."
Did he really say that last part?
Oh, I don't know. I just know that Hansa likes to be mean to us sometimes. It's
He does.
really hard to tell if it's Hansa or the comments. But thank you, Hansa. You always
Hansa just kind of ran off after that one.
Yeah, he did. He's like, I'm out of here.
He does.
Well, you
know what,
God
guys?
never sleeps. Maybe he had to go somewhere.
I'm glad he actually pointed this one out, though, because I do want to point out that our reviews, they're very much supposed to be like us friends talking. What happens when you play a single game of a game? Do you immediately go, I'm not going to talk about this game until I play it 5 more times? It's like, no, we just want to talk about it. That's what we're doing. We're talking about our experiences. You can take it or leave it, but our point is to entertain, to give you a little information, and hopefully you find it valuable one way or the other. So yeah, maybe Pompero is better than most of us thought. Actually, I think everybody liked it. I think I was the one that was kind of the offshoot.
I actually liked the game. I don't know, but we are merely enthusiasts. We are not professionals.
That's right.
Wait a minute. I'm a professional.
Except for John.
That's
Thank
true.
you. Thank you. Let me touch my face. And
all right, Andy. Well, let's get back to it.
Round 3, fight!
all right, round 3 comes to me. Tom Vassell, Board Game Jesus, and/or John Theismann, however you want to call me. But this is a very apropos topic, very well appropriate, I guess. I don't want to get out over my skis with weird words. But as we approach the Halloween season, we thought it would be nice to talk about games that you find a little cringy, games that get under your skin a little bit. Maybe the theme just doesn't quite hit you. Maybe it pushes you the other way instead. Maybe it's so that's what we were kind of doing here. What are the cringy games out there? What kind of themes do you try to shy away from? Maybe you don't even notice it until you think about what games you like or don't like. Say, oh, I don't like these kind of games. Well, for me, actually, I really like a lot of different themes. If the theme is done well, I usually like it, but there are ones that I shy away from. And for me, it's going to be ones that are like overly gruesome for no reason, maybe. Because I mean, even though I do like some kind of appropriate gore, like an Abomination, I mean, that is as far down the road as I'll go. As Abomination is that kind of gore, it's kind of gory, but it's still a fake story. You know what I'm saying? And so you can still lose yourself and immerse yourself into a fantasy fake story about it. But that, and then Daniel had pointed out last year about just overtly occult and maybe even like summoning demon kind of stuff. I mean, some references to magic aren't that bad, but when you're like really motivated to do things like that, it's in the game. It's something that puts me off. And as kind of as an example to the overly cringiness of it, I used to own which one was that? Letters to Whitechapel, which is kind of a Fury of Dracula type game where it's hidden movement, but it's based on Jack the Ripper. And since I'd played with a group that we used to play Scotland Yard a lot, I'm like, this is Scotland Yard on steroids. We're gonna love it. My sister took one look at it and said, I am never playing this game. And actually, the more I was diving into it, I mean, I can see why. I mean, it's you're literally playing as people from the historical record that were investigators that were trying to capture him. You're reading actual letters from Whitechapel, letters from the Jack the Ripper. So it's like it might be a little too real. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a fantasy thing based on it. It's like all the real historical stuff, and it's done in a gruesome way. And while I would probably play it, I couldn't find anybody to play it. So I traded it, Chris. I should have brought it to you. We should have played it. But I traded
Correct
it.
Again. This sounds like a game I want to play. Like I'm pretty sure me and my wife would love playing that. She like watching all the weird Dateline things and learning about all these axe murderers. She'd love that game. So
let's have to review the footage from last year when we talked about Dead Man's Cabal, because you said that you had an issue with games like that, but I'm pretty sure I was ridiculed for my take on that one.
That's what I was saying. I was saying I understand that, but that one you're not really that one. It's so silly to me is why I can understand why you'd have issue with the imagery and stuff like that, but
it's because you're actually manipulating the pentagram. That was what I didn't like.
I got
it went too far for me. But I'll get into that one.
I understand.
If it has a goofy design, John's okay with anything. So it's like, it could be just this silly cannibalism is fine, but serious cannibalism isn't.
Dinner dinner party, probably pretty fun game.
There you go.
All right. So, all right. So the cringy things for me, honestly, there's only two games that I can even think of that really upset me. And there are two games that are highly kind of polarizing. One's way more known than the other. The one that's well known is Kingdom Death Monster. So the game itself, from everything I've ever heard, actually sounds super interesting, super fantastic, and much better than Gloomhaven. But what its problem is, the designers, they had to make it too graphic and graphic in regards to like sex more than like violence and stuff. And there is certainly for violence as well, but like it's just unnecessary. And that's what bothers me. Like if it's tasteful and it makes sense with the situation, even then people are like, well, there's still no need for it. Okay, yeah, I don't disagree with you. You're right. But at least if it makes sense, it's fine. But everything I've ever seen about that game is it's just unnecessary. It's just over the top. And it has put me off of the game. Granted, there's a lot of other things like the amount of time investment and cost and all the different stuff is part of it as well. But what put me over the top for not even exploring those things is just how unnecessarily graphic the imagery is. So I will say that, and which then leads me to the other one that's less well known. But Andy famously pulled it up on his screen last episode, and that's the game called Night Shift. It's a game about I mean, girls who work the night. So that's all cringy thing. But honestly, and maybe that makes me a bad person, the fact that it has to be those two games for me for it to upset me. But everything else, like, either I just don't care or it doesn't bother me. So I guess it's going to have to be extremely overly graphical sexual content for me to be put off, apparently.
I'm glad you have a line somewhere, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. It's all right. Speaking of overly graphic sexual content, could you button that shirt up a little bit?
Absolutely not.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
I'm blind. I can't do this if I can't see the teleprompter. Oh my gosh. Okay. So games that make me cringe or cringy themes. You know, the one that I'm surprised, when I found out I was going third, I was like, oh, this will already be covered by the time it gets to me, but apparently it hasn't. And sorry if I'm stealing it from you, Daniel. And that is, it's an awesome game. It's always fun, but the name just puts people off a little bit if they don't know what we're talking about. That is Secret Hitler. You know, I mean, it's such a wonderful social deduction game. It may be the best one ever made, but it's got the name Hitler in it. And, you know, that's just, I mean, we're probably going to be censored on YouTube because I just said it twice. That's how controversial it is. Unfortunately, that's the bad thing about that game is, like, I want to tell people to play it. And it's really actually quite funny because I play a lot of my games with international students. And I've probably said this on past board game shows here on Around the Board, but we bring in people from all these different countries and they're like, let's play Secret Hitler. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds fun. It is a fun game. It's so fun, but obviously a very controversial theme a little bit. And it's also interesting sometimes to play with people because they immediately assume the two factions in that game are going to be fascists and liberals. And what people don't realize is that historically, traditional liberals are not liberal progressively in the American political sense now. So people immediately assume, like, oh, well, you're either a liberal or they associate, like, you fascists have to be, you know, Trump supporters or super conservatives. And I hate having to explain that again, that it's like, no, that's not really what this game is about. It's from a totally different era, totally different politics. So it's a little cringy for me, but I love the game. I wish it could be rethemed. I don't know what it would be, though.
Well, I think the original Kickstarter actually had Secret Santa that they did it. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the original one was before Trump was even elected, and it was actually called Secret Trump. So you could actually go full onto that.
And everybody out there knows that it actually has been rethemed. Silly me to forget this.
I was going to bring that up.
And that is Around the Board's very own game, Secret Herod.
Correct.
Which, if you haven't played Secret Herod, send us your money. We'll get you a copy soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all jokes aside, I will have to say, I never really thought about it until you brought it up, Andy. Is this the biggest misstep in board game marketing of all time? Because, like, the game is still massively popular, and how many people don't play it because of the name? Like, if they named it anything else, how much more even popular would this game be?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it puts people off as much. I just don't like talking about it in public settings because it's just, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't get, it's hard to get to the table. Like, hey, you guys want to play a game about Hitler? No.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's named anything else, this game's even way more popular.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Speaking of Secret Herod, I did notice that Daniel had another costume change. Is this?
That's right.
Is this Herod now?
Yeah, I'm a Sunday school actor is what I am. This is what I wear when I have to be a Bible character at my Sunday school class. So
are you made of felt?
I don't know. And this wig is the word. Like,
you look like the woman at the well.
Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe
go and sin no more.
Exactly.
Honestly, this costume is titled Jesus. This is technically Jesus.
So we have Jesus and board game Jesus.
Wow.
Which I'm glad we brought this up because now my cringy theme is gonna make is gonna be even more entertaining.
Oh my gosh!
So, games that are too preachy are ones that I cringe at, and that could be because I'm a Christian here. We're all Christians, and we've all came across some games that we're like, why did you make this, Christian people? Like, stop doing this. You're embarrassing all of us. And they're usually poorly made too. But there is some on the other side as well. You can get into some scenarios where people who are very worldly and who are very, counter to what I would normally consider, my beliefs and whatever, who can be equally as preachy. And those games, I'm just like, oh my gosh, is this really a good game? Or are you just trying to tell me how, this way of life is better? Like, I don't need that in a board game. Like I'm not going to touch that. It to me, because that means the theme is probably coming second, or the theme is coming first, which means the game is coming second. It's probably a bunch of hot trash. So that's one that I kind of cringe at. And I have another one. This may surprise you guys a little bit. Intellectual properties that are not Marvel.
So I was gonna like liar.
No.
In the words of John, here we go.
There we go. No, these games that just throw a theme on no matter what. You find them in the Walmarts and the Targets and stuff. Those to me feel a little like you just never know what you're gonna get. And I won't even say the Marvel ones, guys. I recently got Marvel Dagger, and I got Marvel Collateral Damage, and I got Marvel Age of Heroes. I haven't had a great experience with any of those yet. I still get excited of them. I still want to play them. I still want to own them. But trust me, I cringe just a little bit more because I'm like, man, I'm going to buy a bad game, aren't I?
If you buy them all, you definitely will at least at some point buy a bad game. Yes.
And I do buy them all.
I will give you credit on that one, Daniel. Too many times I've run across IP games that I'm excited about because it's like, this is an IP that doesn't normally get made into a board game sometimes. Like, for instance, I saw there was one based on the book Ender's Game.
Yeah.
What's that?
Like He-Man.
He-Man.
No, like He-Man, yes. No, the book Ender's Game and Battle School. If you haven't read the book, you're missing out. It's a great sci-fi book. And actually, they did a good job with the movie. It just kind of bombed at the box office, unfortunately. But the game sucks. But I've seen others like Mega Man. I saw one for Mega Man that came out, and it's like, oh, Mega Man. It's like, oh, this game.
Yeah.
Did you play Mega Man? Colossal Kickstarter failure specifically, like that, like the Mega Man one. I thought was like ended up being like a giant, like just disaster overall. But
it was hot garbage apparently. But it looked beautiful. And
that's all that matters, everybody.
That's all that matters, Chris. What's wrong with you? But anyway, like Daniel, I did post this on social media as well, just to see what other people would say. And part of it might have been due to my poor wording, that I got some responses immediately that weren't what I was looking for. But so we got a lot of social and political issues being pushed and things like that. And I was like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. Can just a theme that makes you just, cringy. So then I finally started getting some things, and some of them were things I had never thought about. Some of them were just war themes in general, because the United States, we're really don't have personal experience with someone invading our country or something, or even living with that fear. And so I can see where that could be, hey, I just lost 2 guys that I knew, last week. I don't want to do a war game, or something like that. Whereas we are so used to putting in context of Risk and World War II games and all that of our whole lives that we're just so desensitized to it. I think it just doesn't, we can,
good point.
We can what do they call that? Compartmentalize it a little bit more, I think.
Compartmentalize even.
Thank you. That's what it is. Another one, this is one I do agree with, though, is the NSFW, which I had to look up what NSFW was. I knew what it meant, but I didn't know what it stood for. So it's not suitable for work. I'm like,
right, yeah.
That's what I found out. So I knew what it meant, like off color crud and stuff like that. Anything that you wouldn't do at work apparently is what it is. And I totally agree with that. Any Cards Against Humanity or any of that crud. Oh, please.
Oh, yeah.
The dark version of this or that or this and After Dark or whatever. No
I almost went down the path of making my segment about Cards Against Humanity. Because to me, Cards Against Humanity, the problem with it is, well, first of all, it's apples to apples with an X-rated theme, and I don't like apples to apples to begin with. It's just subjective crap. But the thing with Cards Against Humanity is it's like a stand-up comic that relies on just dropping F-bombs to get laughs.
Yeah.
It's lazy. It's lazy humor. Anyway, sorry.
Another one is people think Pandemic's a little too real these days. They don't like to play Pandemic. People have a problem with zoos. They don't like incarcerating animals.
Oh, okay. I was like, were they bit by the monkeys or something? How are they going to set up the zoo? No, I got you.
I thought you said Zeus, like the god Zeus.
That was the next one. Zeus.
We've offended some Romans.
They got a problem with Travis Kelce.
Yes. This is one I agree with. The inappropriate anime in some games where it's just these overly done girls or whatever.
Yeah, that was actually going to be mine. It's Tanto Koro is like the prime one. It's like it's a deck building game where you are anime maids. And you're just trading maids, and you're trying to get them into your room, and that's how you cull the deck.
Gosh. Yeah,
it's pretty disturbing.
Did you say maids or mates?
Maids. People who
That's going to
serve
be his
you.
next costume. You'll see.
Oh, dear.
Machitaro right here.
I was going to wear his night shift outfit.
I got just a couple more drug-related ones where you're like a drug pusher or something like that. Then I forgot this game was even made. There was a game made about the H.H. Holmes murder hotel.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
He was like the first verified serial killer in the United States, and he was killing people during the Chicago World's Fair and all that. And it's way back then, so you could get away with stuff. And it's a pretty gruesome story. Of course, games about poop. You can't have too many of those. But I think that's about cliche cartoon characters in a dungeon crawl. I don't know. That sounded like that was a specific game they probably had in mind, but I think just having a cutesy theme along with the dungeon crawl they didn't like. But
yeah,
that was the best of those.
Another one I'm surprised didn't get mentioned in the comments, because I know some people do really get offended by this kind of stuff, is games that focus. There's a lot of period piece games, and so there's a lot of stuff that has ties to colonialism and that sort of thing.
Well, that was mentioned. I said that was part of the ones I didn't want to talk about. So
I'm sorry. Well, here I am ruining that.
Thanks for bringing. Do you want to talk about some more political issues while we're at it, or do we want to go
let's talk about peanut butter and jelly versus or pineapple on pizza.
Anyway, what do you out there find cringeworthy? Is it something that we can talk about on the air, or something that we'll just read in your comments? So,
or is it
let
one
us
of my
know
costumes?
What you think, and let us know what you think Daniel's going to dress up as next, and make sure you like and subscribe while you're at it.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Daniel.
Round 4, fight!
All right, so round 4 is brought by El Mipo Negro, the greatest luchador in all of board games. And we are talking about my father's work. So this is a segment that can only be brought to you by El Mipo Negro, because it is against everything that Chris believes in, because it is a Kickstarter game that I, as El Mipo Negro, own. I bought this game. I was super excited about when I heard about it, because the reason was, as we all know, I don't care about theme and I don't care about art. Those just don't matter to me. The game is what matters to me. So, but I'd been wanting, because I do care about theme, even though I don't, like the idea, the allure of having that Halloween game, that spooky game that actually hits the spookiness without it being a problem. I mean, this is the bigger overarching issue I have about with like horror films in the first place. Like hardly ever are they actually like creepy and scary. They're just slasher films, right? Like The Sixth Sense is actually the closest to a real like creepy, scary horror thing that I've ever experienced, and it wasn't a horror film because it was different. I'm getting off on a tangent, but make sure you understand where I'm going with this. I've been wanting that game, the Halloween, the Dracula, the vampires, the werewolves, the zombies game for a long time. And I saw this game pop up on Kickstarter a couple years ago, and I was like, man, that seems really interesting, especially because it's a worker placement game that involves a evolving story over the course of 3 rounds, because each round there's 3 different ages. So it's like me and then my child and then my grandchild. There's kind of the thematic thing that happens. And within each age, there's also 3 rounds, and you go around and pick up different items and you bring them back. And what you're trying to do is complete experiments. So eventually you can complete the masterwork experiment, which could be time travel or lycanthropy or kind of like a Frankenstein type thing. All these typical tropes of these horror, like Hammer horror film things. So I was super excited about it. I got it. I finally came, even though it took later than normal, because that's just how Kickstarter works. They just lie to you. And I finally played it, and I really like it. I really, really do. I will say that there's one thing that's a problem with this game, and it's because they were like, hey, I want to make this game my magnum opus. Hey, don't blame someone for trying to make something incredible. That's great. And they're like, I'm going to make this incredible thematic worker placement horror game. It's going to be awesome. And then I'm going to throw a novel in with it. Because when you play this game, it takes so flipping long, because so often in the game it's like, oh wait, you got to go to the app and listen to someone maybe talk, maybe they VO'd it, and maybe you have to listen to them for 5 minutes to say the 3 paragraphs that should only be three lines, or it's not randomly because the reasons that I don't know. So then now you got to read the 3 paragraphs when it should just be 3 lines to explain what's going on so you can move on and get back to the game. So I love this game. Don't misunderstand. Super love this game. If it sounds great for you, you watch reviews, read the back of the box, or hear us talking about the game, and you think it sounds great, get it. You will love it. But I will say the one downside is there's sometimes some technical issues actually with the app and what it tells you to do and how it interacts with the game. And also there's just too much reading that it detracts from the actual gameplay. But I do love this game, but it does have a very small flaw. And I'm very intrigued to find out what the other three here have to say about this game. Because I got to be honest, I felt very slighted about this game because I had it available for last Halloween, and we just somehow, some way, we couldn't get it played for the show. So regardless, I'm very interested to hear what my brothers at arms here have to say about this game.
All right, guys, I had a wardrobe change. Sorry.
Now are you now? So now you are Shaggy.
I am.
All right.
It is my cartoon double.
Pretty much.
That's awesome.
That's your best bet right there.
I heard he's a rapper, right?
Yes, he's Shaggy the rapper.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't him.
And then there's the other one. Is that Snoopy Dog? That's a rapper too.
Caesar.
Oh yeah,
I'm closer to the Snoopy Dog than the Shaggy. So
it's my turn. So let's move along. Shall we? Shall we move along? Thank you.
You're the one who derailed it.
I did. That's what I always do. And then I blame others. My father's work. So what can I say about this game? The reason we didn't get to it sooner, Chris, is because it's a long freaking game. And I will say I enjoyed the playthrough. I enjoyed some of the mechanics. I thought the theme was actually pretty good. I will agree with you. There's way too much story going on that's not necessary. And this is going to be something that I'm obviously going to be offended by. But if you get the app, and the funny thing is, these guys didn't get it at first. And I'm going, guys,
I did.
They did not hire a voice actor to do this. That was totally read by AI. It totally was. It was like run-on sentences with not very much emotion. Anyway, I could go on an entire tangent about
Andy, I do want to say something. You are correct. I did hear, though, that the male voice is actually a real voice actor, but the female was AI.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, no offense to the male voice actor. We didn't use that one, so I haven't heard him. But the female was, yeah. Anyway, that's something, obviously, that hits very close and personal to home as a voice actor. What I do remember about this game is I do remember liking some of the mechanics. I do remember it being very difficult to build the what was it, the recipes, the spells. I forget what they were called, because there's like an A and a B and a C. What's that? Experiments. Thank you. Whatever. It was hard to get that back up because there was such a process that you had to lay a foundation to get to B's, to get to C's. And so it made it very challenging and difficult. Honestly, what I remember most about this game, the most memorable part is that we had to, as a group, vote on a couple of things that I thought were really kind of fun. Pretty insensitive of me, but one of them was our town was out of food. But we were defeating other armies, so we had to make the decision whether we would come up with a new source of meat and protein that we wouldn't tell the public about.
Called Soylent Green.
That's what it was. What was it?
Soylent Green.
Yes, yes. Yes.
Speaking of
green,
it's
meeples. So that was one thing we had to like actually use we had to vote on, and it passed. It passed to use the fallen soldiers of the people we defeated and eat them, and the public really raved about it. They loved their protein sources. But then the other one was very controversial, and it somehow passed too, and that was there was an uprising, and so we had to decide what to do about the uprising, and our suggested thing was, shall we mustard gas one of our own towns just to settle us, just send a message and teach them a lesson, and we voted to do that too.
Hey, waste not, want not. That's what I say.
That's right. That one didn't go so well. And I don't think we ate those people either.
We did.
Did we?
They were definitely eaten. No, I'm glad you actually ended with that, Andy, because that will lead into mine. Because while these barbarians here were trying to eat our people and gassing them and shooting them in their faces, I was sitting here being the voice of reason, voting against these things. And guess who was punished every time I voted no? This guy right here. Mm-hmm. That was probably the most frustrating part of the game was it was a worker placement game. There was a lot of thoughtful decisions. Andy mentioned about the cards being played out. Like you had to do 3 A's and then 2 B's before you could do 1 C. And there was a lot thought process on there and how you were going to get that accomplished quickly. but it was always thwarted by other people voting, and they had no idea why they were voting for it. So it was this really frustrating thing where it was like, I would have done better, but you guys just kept being heathens over there and being horrible people. So, and I got punished for it. So that one wasn't a great experience. That would be my biggest flaw in the game. But overall, I did enjoy it. I really wanted to play it again. I was trying to get with Chris to get it played again because I do want to play it again and play one of the different scenarios. And the scenario is something I need to talk about because we are doing this on our Halloween episode because it's supposed to be spooky, scary. You're making Frankenstein's monster. Nothing we did was spooky or scary. We were making weapons, and I was just like, what? Like the whole time I'm waiting, and here comes Frankenstein, and it's like, nope. It's like, oh, okay, all right, well, whatever. And also I have another issue with this game, and it was my Dead Man Cabal issue. I didn't tell you guys this while we're playing it. I was like, I'm gonna keep this one on the show. On my player board, my little side room, there was a pentagram in there where I was doing my experiments. You guys gave me the pentagram board. I think it was on purpose. You guys know.
Dude,
that touches a little
summoned
too close
demons.
to home.
We signed ourselves to the devil. All of those things happened.
You don't
That's
think
right.
eating people is spooky?
It's true.
Well, no, not in the context of war.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to go to war with you.
Yeah.
Hey,
we were just
don't
playing
fall
a
down.
game, Daniel. We're not actually okay with eating people like apparently you are.
It's not spooky enough.
no, it really was. I was expecting like monsters and mayhem. I was
Good point.
expecting
No, that's a
to,
good
like,
point.
dig up graves, and I wasn't doing that stuff. And then there was like, but this is the occult token, which was wild, which was actually really cool too, because if you did it, you went up the creepy track, which I really enjoyed as well.
But yeah.
It really
Insanity
made me
track.
think of the hoodwinked cartoon. Have you guys seen that one?
But we don't arrest people for being creepy. Yeah, Bruce, you know that guy we got in the tank?
The creepy one?
Yeah, better let him go.
All right.
You
So
know,
yeah, I was
one
expecting
thing-
more creepy. It wasn't.
it
So
had
whatever.
this kind of eerie Eastern European Transylvanian thing going. It was cool, man. I don't know what your problem was with that. That's
So
weird.
you think Europeans are creepy? Got it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Except
Only
Germans.
Germans. All right. Let's move it on to me. You guys have had enough to say. Anyway, so
John.
No.
John.
What?
The components were great too. That was actually one of the best things about it. Is the components were amazing.
You didn't have time to say that on your turn. I get it.
I didn't.
And so anyway, that was what I was going to lead with was components. My God.
Foiled again.
Anyway, this is a game I have actually, much to the, disgruntledness of Chris. I have actually wanted to play this game for some time, ever since I'd heard of it. But yeah, it's just a matter of getting the timing down and getting it scheduled. And this is a game that wants to portray itself as a very thematic game. It tries hard. It does. It's got the app that you use that has the spooky sound and the reading and all the text and everything. And the component, like I say, the components are amazing. You got little glass vials, you got little animals, it's different kinds of animals and everything. All the components are just amazing. The cards look great. The board looks awesome. It's neat how you can flip it and everything. And to me, they had a fairly dry Euro game that they put a story to. The game itself is really good. I enjoyed the game. I think the theme, I'd have to go along with Daniel with this. I think the theme almost, as much as I love theme, I think the theme almost detracts from the game, because there's many times that we were sitting there with page after page going by on the thing, reading it to us, and you have to kind of filter through what's actually important from that. Meantime, I'm looking through like planning my next moves and stuff, and I'm like, oh wait, we're voting on, what are we voting on now? What it said we're supposed to vote on something? Oh, okay. And then half the time they have a symbol up on the screen that's the wrong symbol for what it means or whatever. And like Chris was saying before, the app doesn't always, it's a little clunky. Sometimes it doesn't really say the right thing or convey the right thing, it seems like. And this is just the one play that we had. I can only imagine if you're playing every different scenario. But so, I mean, give it props for trying to be that thematic, but I think the theme just kind of makes it longer. And I wish there was a way you could kind of like, I was going to bring this up too, because then I say, Chris, you have to play Abomination, because they're so similar in that they're trying to envelop you into this theme, but they're still a Euro. Where Abomination, you can read it out of the book, or you can use the app and boom, it's going to read it for you and have all the stuff on there. It's like that's it. And it'll be an encounter with the monster, or it'll be whatever, but it's over in one paragraph. It's pretty obvious. Hey, this person does this. Whoever has the most this does this. Boom, we're moving on to the next round. In that game, I think what you do during a game in Abomination feels more thematic than what you do in my father's work, if that makes sense.
Now,
They
John,
try to be really thematic around what you do, but you're pretty much getting resources and trading them in for this or that, and then you're going to move up on this track or that track accordingly.
well, John,
I like
John,
both the games. Hold on, I like both the games.
your
But I
time's
think
over.
Thematically, Abomination, I think, hits the theme a lot better. Andy, did you have anything to say?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much, John. For one thing, you can't judge this game completely. We played one scenario out of how many?
There's 3 of them, and each scenario has 8 different endings.
Exactly. So we got 24 different scenarios effectively, or ways the game could go. So I feel like you can't judge it completely. And that goes back to you as well, Daniel, with your like spooky thing. I mean, we don't know what the other scenarios were or how they would go. So
I said I liked the game. How is that bad? All I'm saying is they try so hard with this theme, and I don't think the theme connects. I don't think the theme will ever connect because it's this long thing that is just droning on in the background while you want to know what you do.
What's bad is you compared it to Abomination and said Abomination is so great.
I did not compare it to the Obama administration. Don't put words in my mouth.
Abomination comes down to dice rolling.
No,
you might as well play Yahtzee.
No.
What?
Hey, okay, Andy, when we played Abomination, I brought my monster to life. That's what the dice do. I finished in last. It's not all about dice rolling.
I don't want to ever see you bring your monster to life. You save
that.
Look out,
baby.
Good gravy. All right, I got a bunch jump in here. Good night. So we're talking about a couple things, and first of all, I'm gonna address the Abomination thing because I did play it finally with John, and I enjoyed it. It's a good game. I will admit, like I was playing it, and I'm just like, this is just a worker placement game. Like, yes, the theme fits. If you go to the morgue, you get a body that's kind of like this, and you get that. But like, it really did kind of feel themeless, like in actual execution, and it No. Let me just say, in it actually being meaningful. Like the theme wasn't really meaningful to what you were doing. Like it's hard to explain. Like you'd have to play it for me to explain. I have to play it with you and tell you, point out like if this is what I'm talking about here. But it really just it does kind of feel tacked in. With that said, I like it, but the theme is not. It's there, but it's actually not. Is the only way I can describe it. Now back to my father's work. Let me get back to my father's work.
Wait. First of all, I got to say that I agree with Chris. If you're going to be taking bodies out of the cemetery, it's got to be meaningful. You got to emotionally connect with that.
Sure. So there's that. And then also back to my father's work. And so I've played it now a total of 3 times. And I will say that each time I had this kind of feeling I couldn't put it together until we were actually talking in it. And it really came to light with our play as a group. I think this game was themed incorrectly. Now that I've played it a couple different times, I think what it should be a theme of building your house in like an ancient civilization, like in Rome or something like that. Because in each one, there's always these political underlying overtones and undertones that are going on that you're voting on, that's evolving the game and stuff like that. So if the game was about building your empire opposed to making these experiments and trying to make this ultimate experiment, then it would make more sense the overtones of the political stuff that's going on, because it is strange. It's like, cool, there's this war going on. Well, I'm just trying to make Frankenstein that my grandfather started. I don't care what's going on in this war. Who cares? So it runs in the face of each other. But the best parts of the game are those moments of the political overtones that are having something that's going on in the game that you're having to decide upon. So I actually think it was just maybe themed wrong. Like, I actually think the game is perfect and beautiful. Granted, get rid of all that novel crap. Just tell me what's happening and get back to the game. But I think if this game was redone with like a Rome or Greek kind of theme, and you're just a house that's trying to build upon itself and build it more and more influence and power over the course of generations, I think that would be the ace right there.
I agree with you, Chris. I think that is where it shines, and that's what it should have been. But I cannot agree with you about the Abomination. That is not plastered on. Like, if anything, my father's work is plastered on. It's literally listen to the story for 10 minutes and then do worker placement. And they're like, okay, what in the world did that story just have to do with what I just did now, other than you guys voted to have my creepy track go up and now I can't place my meeples and it was your fault. Like, other than that, like, I don't see the connection. I think that my father's work actually was a miss on theme. Because of that.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying I think Abomination is too. Like, it just feels flat. It's not exactly tacked on, but it's like not really robust either. It's just very flat. It's just kind of like, okay, cool, I can go to this place and get a body that's like this, or go to this place and get a body like that. Like, okay. That sounds like a rap song.
It's in the ramifications. Like, if you go to this place to kill a body, there goes your humanity. If you go to this place where it's, oh, this body, they just put him to death. All I have to do is pay for the body and I can get it and it doesn't hurt me. So
I will say that one thing I did like about my father's work is that if you went up on the it wasn't the insanity track, it was the other one. What was the other one?
The creepy track.
Creepy track. You couldn't go out in public.
Right.
Which that thematically works really great. You could only go to like the church and like go atone for your sins to be less creepy.
The other track was just as good, the insanity track, because if you get too insane, your wife leaves you. That's
true.
That's pretty good.
You lose your wife.
That's actually what happened to me to make me angry.
Yep.
Right there.
Yep.
Well, anyways, guys, it's been a long time, but yeah, well, tell us what you think. Have you played My Father's Work? Have you played Abomination? Or have you played something else that you feel like, hey, this is actually the one that you need to be looking for your creepy game? Let us know down in the comments, and most of all, make sure you subscribe.
All right. Well, that's the end of the show, guys. Let's find out who the winner is. John, let us know.
Let me let you know. Well, we had a lot of scoring today. We did. Everybody got up in the teens. So that's pretty good. At the bottom, there was Chris. And then moving up the ladder there was myself and Andy, which I should have gotten.
El Negro is a winner.
Which I should have gotten more for Connect 4. That's a joke. But anyway, our winner by default, maybe because he had so many costumes, he confused the judges, is Daniel. Daniel, take it away, buddy, with your 16 points.
Yes. See, the blue meeple is the deserving champion. Take that, black meeple in Spanish. I don't want to try to say it because I'll butcher it. So it's been a while since I've been in this victory square, and I have been waiting for this one for a while, and it's ironic that I'm going to talk about this.
And then it gets to the end.
Just please don't be about Marvel.
It's not about Marvel. It's about artwork. Because I appreciate artwork in board games. What I look like now is counter to what I actually appreciate in board games. I love when people put great effort into it and they put in a lot of heart and soul into it and they do a better job. Even the worst art is still better than anything I could ever do. But I want to shout out to Vincent Dutrait. This man is I'll show some pictures while I'm talking here. This guy has made some of the most beautiful art ever, and he never gets the awards that he deserves. So there's a lot of things that are like the best board game art of the year, and Vincent Dutrait is always in the top 5, but he never wins. And I think I know why. Because this man elevated what art and board games should be like, to the point where when we see his art, we go, that's what board game art should look like. And I think he gets the shaft because of that. But he actually redefined, I think, the way that board games should look and play. And it's probably Chris's arch nemesis, because this man, I think, is what's responsible. I have bought more games because he has drawn them. One off the top of my head is New York 1901. I fell in love with that game. I thought it was so beautiful. I played the game and I was like, oh man, this wasn't fun at all. His art tricked me. And I can't think of any off the top of my head, but he does that to me over and over again. Actually, there's going to be one birthday game we talked about today, Rising 5. It's also a Vincent Dutrait game, and I almost backed it on Kickstarter, and it was probably the first game I was like, I'm going to back, and then I didn't. And then I realized, wait, I can choose not to back Kickstarter games? That was the moment that started it. But his game was so beautiful. I loved it. So Vincent Dutrait, if you ever get around to watching this when we're famous in 10 years and you want to watch our old episodes, I appreciate you, and I think you should win more awards. Thank you.
Wow. Are you done with your man crush there?
Yeah. I mean, it's no Reiner Knizia, but I think the dude deserves it.
Yeah, one guy made board games great. One guy ruined the community.
I don't know why you had to put
decide
the
which one's which.
So who's he always losing to? Is he losing to like what, Ryan Lockett and Peter O'Toole or what?
No. Well, actually, the O'Toole guy, yeah, he beats him a lot. But just random people. Ian O'Toole.
Sorry,
yeah,
Peter. Ian.
Yeah, so just random.
No, he loses to Gloria Broadchest.
I'm just saying he's the most consistent. He needs to be inducted into some Hall of Fame.
All I know is that you need to introduce him to Stefan Feld. Any of those artists. Introduce Stefan Feld to any of those artists, please. God bless you, Stefan. I love your games. They're my favorite games, but holy crap.
Get good art. All right, guys. Well, I think that's the end of our show. And as always, we either would do relegations or birthdays. And today we have 4 birthdays for you. So I'll start with the game I just talked about, Rising 5. It's a puzzly little game that is beautifully illustrated by Vincent Dutrait, but it turns 6 years old today. Rising 5.
Here we go. All right, comes to me, Tom Vassell, and I will talk about Orléans. I don't know if he would pronounce it that way, but that's the way I'm going to pronounce it. Orléans. And Orleans was one of those games that I did not want to play forever, and then got stuck playing it at a game group one time, and it's a really good game. That's now I see why it gets the hype. Not a really good looking game, but very good mechanics, and it's fun little game. So there you go. Orleans is 9 years old today, 2014, so it's almost an old game now. Chris, what you got?
And El Meeple Negro has Keyflower, his favorite game of all time, because on every tile looks like a giant battle royal of meeples. You have no idea what's going on. You can't read anything, and it's just crap.
Very good.
Thank you, El Meepo.
El Meepo Negro.
Yeah, thank you. That's it.
Meeple Negro.
Sorry. I'm going to... By the way, guys, for those of you that wonder what happens behind the scenes here, we were very worried about pronouncing Chris's name this whole time. So, fortunately, we made it all the way through the show without any flubs until right now. I want to say happy birthday to Clank. Clank is 7 years old. He was born in 2016.
Man.
It's hard to believe Clank is already 7 years old. I remember when it was brand new, and it was one of the first games that really caught on in popularity to combine deck building with other things like board game movement, and its creator is Paul Denon, who has gone on to great fame with other games, including Dune Imperium. So happy birthday, Clank!
Woo! Well, I think that's it, guys. Let's take us out, Andy.
Well, thanks again to all of our wonderful viewers out there. Remember to tap those like and subscribe buttons. Also, be sure to join our Facebook group Around the Board. Send us an email at mail@aroundtheboard.net, or reach out to us on via various social media, which we sometimes check and sometimes use when we're feeling, social media-ish.
Okay.
Thank you. Until next time. We'll see you around the board.
Yes, we will.
I think I figured out your problem, John. You're actually playing the game upside down like you're showing the board. I think that's the
there we
problem.
go.
You've just been playing it upside down the whole
Maybe
time.
that's what it is.
Black
Are they supposed to fall out as
I challenge you
with
to
these
a board
ears,
game street fight for the
with
belt.
these ears. I thought you
El
guys were
Meeple
going to think I was
Negro
a
is calling
Ferengi.
out Tom Vassell. Come
I thought you
fight.
guys were going to think I was a Harry Ferengi.
Ooh, Harry Ferengi. That's a good name. Good old